Hi, I'm Håkon from RealRapunzels, and today we're here with one of our amazing models, Victoria.
Hello.
So Victoria, how long have you been a RealRapunzels model?
I've been a model since 2016, so for 6 years actually.
Yeah, that's a long time.
It is.
So we've been working together for 6 years and on and off. We have had a smaller studio at your place in your city, and then you have been at some local RealRapunzels shoots, such as this one, which we are having now. What's your experience with RealRapunzels, and how is it to be our model?
It's fun. I think everyone that has long hair should be a real Rapunzel's model because the work with you and the team and the other models is just amazing. So I love being a model. It feels like a family. And, we were shooting with the other model, Selena, and I feel like even though we just met, I feel like a connection to her, somehow.
And that's so good to hear, and it warms my heart. And our intention and goal is that RealRapunzels is a family, and I really appreciate you saying that. And to work with you is amazing as well. You are you are an amazing person, and what's more important than the long beautiful hair is the person behind the hair, and you're a very good example of that.
Thank you.
When we meet the first time, with most models, I feel there's a connection because they are so great people, and especially you, and the energy is good, and yeah, it's just a great time.
So being a model for 6 years, we haven't done a lot of shoots together. This is our second shoot together.
Second big shoot, local shoot.
Yeah. But I've been doing videos on and off, and I think I had maybe 1 year break where I didn't even do anything. But I still felt like a model, like a real Rapunzel's model. I didn't feel because I didn't give you any content that you were just no, you're not my model anymore. We still had contact, and we congratulated each other on our birthdays and stuff like that. So I feel we are more than just business partners. I feel
absolutely. And that's important as well, that when you are a real Rapunzel's model, it's very important that you don't feel like you're at work. We are professional, but it's very important to feel like a family and friends, and that you are home. So that you feel that you're doing something fun, because having long hair, a very important ingredient to having long and very long hair is to love your hair, and then you have to love what you're doing with it as well. For example, real Rapunzel's modeling. And we now have about 300 models in 2022, and I love that. I love all the models. I love working with them. The thing is that when we have so many models internationally, it's harder to work with each model in the terms of that before we can maybe work with a model, let's say 10 times a year, but those 10 times might be 2 times now because we have so many models to work with. So we just have to scale and build Real Rapunzels bigger so that we can work more together, as we're now focusing more on the local shoots and local models as well. I really think that we can start work much more together, instead of once a year, maybe several times a month even. So that's my goal, and I really love working with you. Your energy is amazing.
Thank you.
And we had a shoot yesterday with Selena, one of our other models, and while Victoria has been a model for 6 years, she has been a model for about 1 to 2 months, so she is pretty new. And Victoria was a cheerleader and really cheering her up and giving her ideas, that great high energy during the shoot, which we love so much. So thank you so much for that.
Of course.
How long is your hair, by the way?
It's knee length, but it's maybe this close to my knees. I think the last time I measured it, it was 115 centimeters.
Where do you measure from? Do you measure from the front here, or from the top and down?
The thing is, when you have this long hair, you can't do it by yourself. So I got my mom to measure it for me. I think she went from the back here,
yeah, okay.
On top of the head,
yeah.
and then to the longest like itty bitty strand of hair that I have.
Because when you measure long hair, it's several ways of doing it, and you can start like if you can, from here and down, or you can take from the side and down, or from the front and back. And what we have done, thank you very much. What we have done sometimes is to measure from the front, because some of the longest hairs actually might be from the front, because when you cut or trim your hair, like every hair strand, even if it comes from here or from here, is equally long when you look at it from the back, but has different lengths since it's from different places on the head. So if you measure from like here, you might get 130 or something, right? But I think that all of those measurements, like ways of measuring your hair, is correct. So there's no, it's only right. But 115 centimeters, that's what.
That's like a couple of months ago though. So
So let's say it's 120 now, because I think your hair has a good growth rate. Like normal growth rate is about a centimeter a month. Your hair maybe has 2 centimeters a month or something like that. So let's say you have 120 from here, and that's a very very good length. And also one thing I've noticed is that the thicker the hair is, the longer it can grow, but also the faster it grows. So it's like the best of 3 worlds, and the longer the hair gets, the thicker it gets at the base as well, as long as you of course trim it when it's needed. So Victoria has absolutely fantastic princess-like hair.
Thank you.
And it's always a pleasure to be working with you. But as mentioned, amazing hair, but much more importantly, amazing personality. Why do you have such long and beautiful hair?
Well, it started off, I've like always had long hair.
Like since you were a little child?
Since I were a little like toddler. Like I've always had long hair. Like the only difference is that I've had like bangs throughout my years. The reason is that when I was little, my mom didn't want me to cut my hair. So I was not allowed to cut my hair when I was little. Because my mom was like, long hair is so beautiful, it's so rare, like not a lot of people.
She's absolutely right.
Yeah, she's right. Yeah. And at the time I was really like upset with her, because I was like, I want the length that every girl's got, which is like here.
Yeah, because you want to fit in.
I wanted to fit in.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to have like long hair and being like looked at all the time and that stuff. But when I turned 18 and I was allowed to cut my hair, I didn't want to, because then I had, established a model agency, and it's kind of like become like a part of me. Yeah,
it's your personality. It's like if you cut it short, you would kind of lose a part of it.
Yeah. Like I don't want my hair to be only me. I want me to be me, and the hair to be like an accessory, which it is. And that's also why I feel like I don't wear that much accessories, because like my hair is my accessory. Yeah,
that's a very good point actually that we haven't spoken about before. That long hair is the most beautiful and most natural accessory, or what is called ornament, I think.
Ornament?
Yeah. Anyways, it's the most beautiful accessory. So many people are wearing accessories like rings and necklaces, and let's say they are very expensive, beautiful, and that for example stick out. Only a few people will see it and be like, wow, that's beautiful, because it's so common. But having long hair as you, I have to mention that it's a big trend and has become much more popular, which is very, very good. And I think that RealRapunzels is a part of that. And then I don't only mean the company, but like all the models. I have to thank all the models for that. But it's still rare in a very beautiful and natural way. And because of that, it's much more observable. And when people see long hair like yours, it's inspirational, motivational, and that's what RealRapunzels is about: inspiration and showing the real beauty of very long hair, and like the beauty and art of it. And when it comes to your mother, like I have to thank her, you have to thank her.
Yeah.
if she hadn't done what she did, you wouldn't have been a real Rapunzel's model today. And what I'm thinking is that she has to be very, very proud of your hair now. Like she said that long hair is beautiful, and now you have you have some of the longest, most beautiful hair probably that she has seen as well. Of course, I think she is proud of you in many other ways, more important ways as well.
Yeah.
But when it comes to your hair, what does your mother think now?
I think she's like so used to it that it's like it's whatever. But I remember like talking to her and being like, "What would you do if I cut my hair short?" She was like, "It's your life now. It'd be very sad because your hair is so long and beautiful, and everyone knows you as like the girl with the long blonde hair.
Yeah.
So you would be just one amongst everyone. You
Yeah.
would be just like an average person."
Absolutely. Like, why do you want to be, like, I'm not dissing it or hating it on it, but why do you want to be like everybody else? Because that place is taken. The best thing you can be is to be yourself. The most important part of being yourself is your personality, of course. And you rock that part. But you also rock the hair part. And it's very unique, and everybody that has very long hair as well has their own type of hair and their own look. You stick out in the crowd. You're very easy to see, very, very easy to spot in a very beautiful and positive way. And yeah, it's very, very unique. And I understand what you mean when you say that she has gotten used to it, because when I started Real Rapunzels, I was like, when I saw classic length and neo length, especially in person, in real life, when we had shoots, I was like, wow, this is very, very long. And we have had shoots both in our country and also in other countries with models who has floor length hair and even longer and even way longer. And I've gotten so used to it that when I, for example, see knee length hair or especially classic length hair, which are beautiful, beautiful lengths, by the way, it's normal to me. But still, it's very unique, and when you see it out in public, it's very eye-catching.
Yeah. Like all of my friends have gotten used to my hair as well. So like if we're in a new group of people and I have like my closest friends with me and I like drop my hair down or whatever and everyone's like, "Oh my god, you got so long hair, like blah blah blah, all this." They're like, oh yeah, right. Like they're so used to it. They're like, "Oh, I didn't even notice."
Yeah.
So like everyone around me is like very used to it. But you know, it's always like fun to get compliments, I guess. And I mean, as you mentioned with the jewelry thing, it's like I don't spot a jewelry from like 50 meters away. I can spot hair from 50 meters away and think about it like throughout the day, like, damn, that was like really nice hair.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna be like, that was a nice ring. you know?
Because hair is much bigger, but it's much more observable, and like it's so natural, you know. A ring, for example, isn't natural in that way. I have a hair brain or hair eyes or something, because I can spot hair a kilometer away. Like, but it's very easy to see. Growing such long hair takes time and patience, and some other variables as well. What's your best tips and tricks for what you should do and not do to get such long and beautiful hair?
Right. What I think is the most important thing is treating your hair right. That includes not using heat, which is no blow drying, no curling, no straightening, none of those. Don't dye it, bleach it, don't do that. Everything that kind of like isn't natural for the hair, don't do it. So also how you brush it and how you treat it with like detangling it and stuff like that is really, really important. I see a lot of people when they're trying to detangle their hair or brush their hair, they start from like the top and then they go down. A tip that is like the most, like if there's something you should learn from this video, is definitely like when you start like brushing hair, start from the bottom and work yourself up. And if you have some tangles, you should take your time and detangle it, and not just rip it apart, because then your hair will become like very gummy and instead of like having it like the way it's supposed to be, like if you have straight hair, it's gonna start spiraling and get like curly and broken and just not good. Also trimming it every once in a while whenever you see when it's needed. And definitely choose a length that suits your lifestyle. So obviously if you're very active with work or whatever, and you notice that your hair gets easily damaged, like if you sit and you step on it or whatever, then you should choose a length that suits your hair to keep it the most healthy. Because I think it's better to have healthy hair than try to get it as long as possible, because if it's not healthy, you won't be able to grow it.
Absolutely. And there is a lot of people who wants to go for terminal length, and I just say go for it, because I love long lengths such as floor length and even longer, as long as you can keep it healthy. I have some favorite lengths, and one of them is knee length, or 3 of them is knee length, calf length, and floor length. And when you say that you have to have the length that suits you, like the only correct length is the length you like the most and that you think looks the most beautiful on you. That might be classic length, that might be floral length, it might be shorter, it might be longer. However, healthy hair and healthy long hair is better. Like, it's our opinion, but it's also, you have to look at the facts, what's best for the hair and for the body and for the lifestyle. Healthy long hair is better than not healthy, very long hair. And in my opinion, the best is to have very long or super long healthy hair, of course. And then I think it's 2 levels to it, because I remember someone told me that, I'm a handball player, so I can't have classic length or longer because it will just get damaged and everything. And I have seen people with knee length hair and longer who are handball players. So they make, for example, special braids or updos or half up, half down, or buns, or braided buns, and there are so many combinations. So I think that one of the like level 1 is that you have to you can have super long hair, like calf length, floor length, knee length, anything like that, and still do things that might result in stepping on your hair or things like that, but you have to set it up in the right way. Then at level 2, if your hair, like if you can't make any hairstyle that suits you, or you make, for example, a protective bun but it's very heavy and you get neck pain, for example, if you have very, very thick and heavy hair, and then you might have to like cut it from, let's say, calf length to thigh length or knee length to suit your lifestyle, if that's what you want. And I also think that we could talk about some hair myths, because I think it's really exciting, like especially people who don't have as long hair as you. They have questions, they have thoughts, and they even have some assumptions. So let's start with it's very, very heavy and you get neck pain.
I think because, when you grow your hair out, your neck kind of get used to it. So like...
Yes, because it's over time.
Yeah. I think if like I gave my hair to you now, you would probably be like, oh.
Yeah.
But like me personally, I don't have any neck pains or anything like that. That's from my hair. It's from like my sitting positions and stuff. But it can get very heavy if it's loose in water. That's when it's really heavy. But other than that, it's not really heavy in like that form where you get pains from it. The only thing I'm noticing I'm getting like pain is when I'm having like, I've had a bun the whole day, and when I'm finally releasing it, it's like the hair has been in like one way the whole day. So when it's finally like not that way and it's like breaking free,
Yeah.
it's like it's a good feeling, but it's also like you know?
Yeah, I understand. And it depends on the hairstyle as well, because when you have loose hair, all the hair strands, the many hair strands, it's not all in one place. It's kind of evened out across your whole scalp, of course. And we have several floor length hair models, and one of them has really heavy and perfectly hydrated, very thick blonde hair. Actually now I think it's a bit longer than floor length, so about 2 meters or so. And she has a very big bun, of course, and she keeps it at the top of her head, and then all the weight is going down, so she doesn't get any neck pain. However, if she were to, let's say, make a bun up here, like a very tall one, but not on top, like Ariana Grande style, she would be like this, because it's pulling more than if you have, for example, a low ponytail or, of course, loose hair. So it's important to have low hairstyles when you have heavy hair, and having heavy hair is just positive actually, because like with many other things, heavy hair means that it's of high quality, because it means it has a lot of density, thickness, length, and one of the most important things, hydration. And hydration is mainly water, and water is heavy, and that's why it also gets very heavy when you're showering or like swimming, bathing, anything like that, because then you get all that extra weight. And let's say that your hair weighs, if I would guess your hair weighs around 700 grams maybe, and if you get that overnight, you would be like, oh, that's heavy, but you have gotten a gram one by one after a long time, like day by day, and then you don't notice it. We have several models actually who has hair that weighs over 2 kilograms, which is about 4.5 pounds. But they don't feel it because they're used to it, and they have most probably stronger neck muscles than, for example, I do, since I have short hair.
I actually thought about it yesterday, actually, because you don't notice it when it's like this, but if someone were to like hold my hair up, it's like a relief. It's like, I can relax. I think it's the same way. I know that some pregnant women say that when their belly is lifted, they feel like a relief. I think it's like the same way for me. It's like when people like hold my hair, it's like, delicious.
Like you're flying or something.
Yeah,
because at some of our shoots, especially in the end, or if the models is about to wash their hair, we do some scalp massage, since it's relaxing, especially after a long day at shoot, and it's good for the hair growth, as it enables the hair to grow faster because it stimulates the blood flow around each hair follicle. Then at the start, for example, we sometimes take our hand beneath the hair and lift it up like this. I don't know it myself, but the models say that it's very good and relaxing because, as you're saying, it's a kind of relief. Okay, myth number 2. It gets in the way all the time.
If it gets in the way, then you just put it in a bun.
Yeah, okay, so let's take a funny one like, how do you go to the toilet? Okay, then I gotta ask you, have you ever worn a dress? Like, how do you go to a toilet with a dress? Do you just don't do anything, or do you actually lift it up?
But I think the reason why people think that way is because those people are the ones that have like this short hair or this short hair. They just sit down, right?
Yeah.
But we have it like on autopilot. We just like, shloop. It's like, I don't even think about it.
Of course. Like if you have a big coat or a long sweater, some oversized clothing, or a dress, you have to like put it away, hold it, or lift it up. And it's the same with hair. Like you can fold it, you can use it as a scarf, you can do it like this, or just take it in front. There's so many things you can do, and as you're saying, you do it on autopilot. If you have, let's say, knee length and longer, of course it will be in the way if you wear your hair loose, and especially if you bend down, you're about to pick something up from the floor, for example. It's very likely that you will step on it with your knee or your foot. And if you have floor length, you can step in your hair just by doing like this, just by tilting your head a bit. So you have to like do this and everything. But as mentioned, you don't get floor length hair or knee length hair overnight, so you get used to it, and that's both the hard thing and the good thing about long hair is that it grows slowly over time, so that you get used to it. Many people want to have floor length overnight. Trust me, so many people want that, but it's a good thing as well that you have to get used to it. Myth number 3. Having so much hair and so long hair takes so much time to wash, so much time to brush, so much time to like everything. Okay, tell me about that myth.
That's not true. I mean, and a lot of people say like, oh, you have to use like a whole bottle of shampoo because of your hair. It's like, I probably use the same or less amount that people with like this short hair, or like not my short, long, do. The only thing that takes a bit longer is obviously drying it, because it's longer, it's thicker. But it honestly takes, it's no stress.
Yeah, because you wash your hair or your scalp with shampoo from like here to here, right? And then the rest is just conditioner. Yeah. Because if you wash your length with the shampoo, it will damage the hair. And like doing, for example, this, that's the worst thing you can do. So as you're saying, you don't use more shampoo. You use a bit more conditioner or a hair mask, I would assume. Is it worth it? Absolutely. And we have spoken with many models about this, from everyone who has thinner tailbone length or classic length to people who have 260 centimeters, 3 kilograms hair. And they all say the same. It doesn't cost that much more. You don't use that much more. It doesn't take any more time, maybe just some minutes, but it takes more time to dry. So you have to air dry it naturally throughout the day, and then it's important to don't wear a bun or braid when you do that, of course. And also you shouldn't brush your hair when it's wet. Do you feel it takes much more time to brush your hair?
That's a hard question to answer because I'm used to it.
Yeah.
But
of course.
I think like styling it and that kind of stuff takes less time for me, because I just have to brush it and then I'm good to go. But people that's got like, you know, your hair or like shorter hair, they have to like maybe straighten it, they have to like fix it, or else it will be like in the morning and stuff. But I just have to like brush it and then I'm good to go. Like
with people who have shorter hair, or like let's say a woman who has hair to here, or for example me who have very short hair, I have to fix it and do everything like that. You can brush your hair in 5 minutes and look like a princess. Straight out of bed, like when you have woken up. So it's perfect. Some people even assume that you can't do a lot with long hair because it's like, oh, it's too long, it's too heavy, you can't do this, you can't do that. And that's as wrong as it can possibly get, because you can do so much. There are thousands and thousands of hairstyles, you know, buns, braids, up those, a combination of those. There are so many things. And for example, something very beautiful like a bridal hairstyle, there are so many things you can do with classic length hair and longer, which you could have never done with shorter hair. And I have even seen someone who actually said that they wanted to grow their hair to floor length to make one specific hairstyle, and that's dedication. And then they have to love their hair as well, of course. But yeah, you can do a lot with it, and it doesn't take much more time. Okay, so myth number 4, and this is a bit intertwined with maybe myth 3, but having such long hair costs so much money, and it takes so much time out of your life. I think, like some people say, I think long hair is very beautiful, but I don't have the time and I don't have the money.
Honestly, I don't go to the hairdresser, obviously. So you save money on not going to a hairdresser. When you have long hair, hopefully you don't bleach it or dye it, and you don't need those treatments, which means you save money on not having to go do touch-ups and stuff. how is it time consuming? It's just there, it's growing.
Yeah. Does it cost a bit more because you have to use more hair mask, more conditioner, and because you have to take good care of it, of course, and then you have to use a hair mask, like let's say once a week. Yes, you use maybe a bit more and it costs more. However, when you want to have very healthy hair, you shouldn't wash your hair more than once a week, especially not more than twice a week. While some other people wash their hair 3, 4, or 5, or maybe more often times a week. And they say they do it because they don't want to get oily scalp and oily hair. But the thing is, when you let it go for longer and you get more oily hair, and you do that for some months, you can go longer and longer and longer, and the body will adapt to it.
Yeah, you kind of like train your hair to not get as greasy as fast.
Yes. And therefore, it does not cost more, but you save money. So knee length hair and floor length hair, for example, is much cheaper than shoulder length hair, because many people with, for example, shoulder length hair, they have to cut their hair $50, $60, $70. We live in Norway, so I'm talking about Norwegian price now, but I would assume it's about the same in other European countries and countries as the USA. And a treatment, for example, $150, $200, $250. And as you're saying, touch-ups, like when you get aftergrowth, if it's called that, like when if you bleach or color your hair and it grows out the normal color again, and you have to like do touch-ups, that costs money. So shorter hair is actually more expensive than longer hair, and you can do so much with long hair. And when it comes to curl, you can do natural curls, and it can be a bit harder to have them to stay in for longer. But if you do it correctly, you can do it without using too much harmful spray and things like that. And of course, never use heat, as Victoria is saying. And I also want to mention a thing we talked about a bit earlier about brushing the hair. Does it take more time to brush long hair? And the answer to that is because I have experience with short, medium long, and super long hair. And the answer is at most times it does not take longer time, because the longer the hair is, the heavier it is. So because of the weight itself, the hair, each hair strand is heavier, and it straightens itself out. So instead of having, let's say you have 50 centimeters long hair and it goes like this, and but when you have, for example, 150 centimeters, it's more like this. It's more straight because it keeps its form, and that's what I see with your hair as well. And unless you are totally crazy about it, it keeps its form over a long period of time.
Yeah, that's also why for long hair there's no use in like curling it and stuff, because the curls will just fade out after like an hour or two, and then you have spent like maybe half an hour curling it, used heat on it, and then the curls are gone. What I do recommend is doing like heatless curls, is when you have like damp hair, and then you use like those satin like bands that you wrap around your hair. That's safe for your hair, it's good for your hair, and no heat needed. And I also I found that the curls stay in for longer actually doing heatless, because it's kind of like it's formed in that way. Kind of like if you braid your hair when it's damp, like you will have those like waves. It's kind of like the same. Yeah,
absolutely. And that's very beautiful and 100% natural and harm-free. And this is a bit inside information, so you're the first to know this. But what we also have a vision of doing, most likely this year, 2022, is to create a Real Rapunzels hair care brand as well. So modeling combined with hair care brand. So like now we have one of those, but then we're going to combine two of those, and then it will be possible to purchase everything from, for example, goal setting books, calendars, and also we want to sell high quality, harm-free accessories for your hair. For example, like pillows, towels, and accessories to make curls. So that Real Rapunzels hair care, that brand will be focusing on long and very long hair and hair care for that, and also for the people who doesn't have very long hair but who wants to have it, because like having very long hair and the way you treat it is a whole nother world from having short hair and not treating it right. But the good thing is that even if you have like bad genes and you have done some incorrect decisions, you can go from having, for example, extremely damaged shoulder length to even thick floor length. But you have to accept the fact that it takes patience and time.
And by time, it's not that you have like wasting your time. You just you live, you go on about your day.
Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking as well. Like now we're in 2022 as we are having this interview. In 5 years, it will be 2027. Now, if you cut your hair, it will be 2027. If you let your hair grow, it will be 2027 with floor length hair. If you keep your hair length, it will be 2027 with knee length hair. To you that are watching this, if you have, for example, let's say waist length or shorter and are thinking about should I grow my hair long or very long or not, and just remember that in 5 years, it will have gone 5 years anyway. And it's not that you're using more time each day. Like you don't have to stand in front of the mirror and like, come on, grow. It just grows, really. Trim your hair when it's needed, but never ever cut it. Don't do any big cuts or too big trims. Just the amount you need to let it grow longer and healthy, and one length and blunt cut, as we are recommending that, since it's a more healthy hairstyle than a V-cut, for example. But anyways, the point is that time goes anyways. So where do you want to be in 5 years when it comes to your hair? Do you want to have the hair you have now? Do you want to have shorter hair or more damaged hair? I hope not. Or do you want to have longer and really unique hair? So as you're saying, it's not a time waster, it's just that it takes time. So I would also recommend not standing in front of the mirror every day and be like, has it grown any longer? Because then it feels like an eternity. I have spoken to several models who just have had their hair up in a bun to protect it, and then suddenly they realized, oh, I have long hair.
Yeah, I noticed myself because I did cut 30 centimeters of my hair 2 years ago, I think. And I just noticed like, oh, it's almost down to my knees again.
Yeah.
So it's like, you don't really notice it yourself either. Like people around you maybe not notice it because they're like up close to you all the time. What I think people think is the most time consuming is like the care you have to do for your hair. But it's honestly just, don't treat it bad. Don't, like, kind of like you treat your skin, you kind of have to treat your hair. You wouldn't want to like scrub it with like really harsh scrubs all the time and like not using SPF and like not moisturizing it and stuff like that, because that's damaging for skin. Same goes for your hair. So, you know, just take care of it. Like, you don't have to do like scalp massages every day. Like, I get that can be like time consuming.
Yeah.
Like once in a while, make sure that you just take care of your hair. Like, you know, the day will go by either way. Absolutely.
And it doesn't take much more time. And okay, so let's say that you're treating your hair bad. You're spraying some more, and then you're spraying a spray to set it, and then a spray to make it glossy, and then a spray to make it like whatever. You get the point. Some people use one spray, some people use 10. That requires money and time. Mm-hmm. So by not doing that, you will actually save time. So that's the opposite of that. Many people think it's that because they think that having long hair takes long time, like long hair, long time. However, it's the opposite. Mm-hmm. Long hair, shorter time. Okay, so let's say that you find a hairstyle that isn't too heavy and that protects your hair, that keeps it out of the way, and no matter at school, work, driving, whatever you do, it's safe and not in the way. And as long as it keeps growing healthy and that you trim it when it's needed, what's the absolutely longest length that you could let your hair grow to?
Good question. The longest that I've had is knee length, or like maybe right past my knee.
Yeah, like the start of the upper cuff.
Yeah. And I remember when, like, right before I cut it, I was really annoyed with the length because it was in the way all the time. And when I was sleeping, I like to sleep with my hair loose because I just found that it doesn't tangle up that easily. And I've tried doing braids and buns, but it's like in the morning, it's kind of like where the braid is starting, it's like kind of like
yeah,
frizzy.
I see. Where do you keep your hair? Is it at the side of the bed or beside you, or
I flick it up.
Yeah, okay. So up or like behind the bed?
I have my bed like right like
against the wall?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So like I have some space for like my pillow, and then space, and then the wall. So like I flick my hair in that space. Where
you have an own space.
I have an own space for my hair. So it's all safe and protected there. And I noticed that I don't get any like I don't even have to brush my hair when I wake up. I just do it for this.
Yeah.
But yeah,
imagine that, having knee length hair or nearly knee length hair, and you wake up and that's all. Your hair is perfect. You don't even have to brush it. Now that's amazing. And that's because each hair strand is so long that it requires a lot of movement for it to get tangled. While as with shorter hair, it would get tangled very easily. But like, so what's the absolutely longest length? Considering that you're a real Rapunzels model as well, like, is it knee length, or like, could you go longer?
I think I'm pretty content with having knee length. I did tell myself it would be fun to try to go longer, but I noticed that my hair was getting thinner and thinner at the ends right before I cut it. So that was also like the initial thought of me wanting to like cut it. Like I probably didn't have to cut it that much, but I noticed that my hair wasn't in the best shape before I cut it.
I remember when we had that shoot, you had knee length hair and it was very beautiful and pretty healthy, but now it's on a whole nother level. And regarding what you're saying, I would absolutely recommend you to not cut it shorter than knee length, like ever, unless you really need to, and just keep it at knee length. And regarding what you're saying, maybe not go longer either. And knee length is a very, very beautiful length, and it's very unique. One of the reasons of why it's one of my favorite lengths is that it requires like, it doesn't require so much, but it's still very long, very unique, very beautiful, and it's easy to take. Or like, you have more experience than I do, but working with 300 models, I have some experience as well, and like, it doesn't require that much, and it's pretty easy to take care of. So floor length requires a bit more, not much more, but I would say that if you're looking for a length that is very long, very beautiful, and that is very practical, I would say that knee length is the perfect length, which is why it's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I do love knee length, and I noticed that I get a lot more attention and compliments when having knee length compared to when I cut my hair to like right under my...
Because having very long hair is a trend that's growing, as mentioned, and classic length hair is actually not that unusual anymore. Like, I don't say that every store you go into, for example, or you see someone with classic length hair and you see 10 people a day with classic length hair. I'm not saying that, but it's much more common now. And if you go in the city, you can see several people each day, actually. It's that common. So that's, wow, you have beautiful hair. But when it's knee length, it's like, wow, oh my God. Yeah. When it comes to trimming your hair, we recently worked with a model of ours who will trim her hair soon because it's very needed. She hasn't cut or trimmed her hair in 2 years, and it's now maybe like 10 to 15 centimeters of split ends or like damaged hair, and I recommend to trim your hair way before that happens. But we also have another model who hasn't trimmed her hair at all in 18 months, so pretty close to 2 years, like it's 1.5 years, and her hair is perfectly one length, blunt cut, like straight line, and that's the most healthy for the hair, as mentioned. Like if she didn't tell me that, I would assume she did it yesterday. So some people need to do it every 3rd month, some can go 30 months. How is that with your hair, and do you have any recommendations about how much people should take and who they should use as a hairdresser? Because some hairdressers are known to, I don't know why, but take too much. They don't make more money out of it, they don't get more clients, they just lose clients. So if it's just that they want to have a feeling of being right and being in power, I don't know, but what's your thoughts on that?
I haven't trimmed my hair since I had that big cut, which was October 2020, I think.
And you haven't had a trim since that?
No.
Wow. So that's, isn't that also like 18 months or so?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
So here you have it. Very beautiful, healthy hair and like 18 months.
Yeah, I think definitely trim it when you see that you're starting to get split ends, because the split ends will start to eat its way up and then you need to cut more than you actually need to. So I think, as you say, it's very individual on like how much you need to take, how often you need to trim it, but definitely don't take more than you have to. If you have very damaged hair, then take more than you have to, so that your hair can start to rebuild itself and that you don't have that little risk of like having some split ends that will start like spreading and like eating its way up. But I think my little secret for like not having to trim my hair that often is definitely taking good care of it and making sure that I'm not damaging it and treating it properly, like I said, you know, brush it right and don't use heat and that stuff.
Yeah. Some people tell me that they want to go for terminal length and as long as possible, and they might have ankle length hair, but they only have healthy hair to, for example, their thighs or knees. And when we then ask, okay, are you willingly to trim your hair to become a real Rapunzels model? And when they say no, we ask why. And they say, because I want to grow it longer. Okay, you want to grow it longer, then you have to trim it. Or actually in that specific case, when you have several tens of centimeters that are damaged, then you actually have to cut it. And yeah, it's a bit sad, but healthy hair is very important. And as one of our models, Xenia, said in an interview video actually 5 or 6 years ago, you can't glue the hair together. You can't repair it. Like you can do search and destroy when trimming ends, and you can do stuff like that, but you can't repair hair strands. A hair strand should be single, and when it starts to splitting, you have split ends. You can split in 2, 5, 10 more. You just have to let it go. And then when you do that, let's say you need to trim 3.5 centimeters, trim 4.5 and you're safe, but not more than needed, not more than necessary. And then it can grow longer and longer and longer, and then you can trim some more, so then it can grow longer, because sometimes with both hair and in life, you have to take one step back to take 2 steps forward or ahead. So if you want floor length, you can't go like this. You can't do that, you have to go like this. That's just the way it is. So your hair is not only long, it's very thick, and I really realized yesterday when I gave you a scalp massage that like you have a lot of hair, and and that's very positive. The more the better, right? And it's not only thick here, it's very thick in the ends as well. So what do you do to keep it so thick and healthy all the way down? Like in addition to trimming, which we recently talked about, what do you do to keep it like do you have any product recommendations, or how often do you use masks? How often do you wash it? Yeah.
I wash it once a week.
Perfect.
And when I wash my hair, I use shampoo, conditioner, and then hair mask. I was out of hair mask for a couple of months, so I didn't use hair mask. But I have hair mask now. But I feel like for me, it's not really that big of a deal if I miss hair mask for a month, because my hair is just, it's good. So I use also oil. I have this leave-in conditioner spray actually that's really good with detangling, and that I use like before I do oil, so that the hair gets like really silky smooth, and that it's not that hard for the hair to tangle up. Other than that, it's just like brushing like throughout the day. Make sure that you brush when you wake up, when you go to bed. If you've been out and it's been windy, that you brush it, and that you don't let the tangles build up, because like if you have a little tangle, it can start to get like into a really big one if you don't take care of it.
Yes, a person I know had she doesn't have very long hair, but she has, I think it would be considered by the general population as long hair, at least. Like it's about waist length. She woke up one day and really needed my help, because she didn't know if she needed to cut some hairs, like some strands or whatever, because it was really a big knot. And then she, you couldn't brush it. We had to use Moroccan oil, like argan oil, and we had to manually pull very carefully. Like it's several ropes in a big knot, you have to pull it out, and that took like 2-3 hours. But when you have a knot or a tangle, if it's small, if it's huge, if it's like eating your hair or destroying it, what do you do?
I use oil, and I use the leave-in conditioner spray, as I mentioned, and I just take my sweet time. And don't go at it. You have to take the hair apart, not just go at it. I see a lot of people when they get a big tangle, instead of working with the hair, they just doing this, and I'm just oh no, don't do that. So definitely take your time when you have a tangle. The more time you use on a tangle, the less hair you will lose. And definitely use a good brush, and if you need to, take some conditioner in it, work it in, and then do it like that. But don't go ham with it. Don't be I'm so impatient, I'm just gonna brush it. Oh yeah, don't brush it. Don't brush the tangle. You have to work it with your hands. And when you have gotten it with your hands, and it's small tangles, then you can start brushing it with a brush. But use your hands first.
Would you recommend other girls and women to grow such long hair and longer? And if so, why?
I feel like it depends on the person. If you're a person that loves to dye your hair and switch up hairstyles and stuff like that, then consider it. But definitely have the integrity of your hair in mind, have it healthy and stuff. But if you're a person that don't dye your hair, don't bleach it, don't really do anything special with it, but you cut it because you want to cut it, try it, do it.
Yeah, amazing. And what I want to say regarding that is, you have to be you. Have you ever heard the saying that if I want to be free, I have to be me? Not the me I think that others think I should be, but the me that I want to be. And that counts for everyone, and that counts for hair as well. So I don't have anything against people that are coloring their hair, and it's a personal preference. But some people are, for example, let's say they have brown hair, and then they bleach their hair so that they're blonde, right? And then they do to change their style and to stick out. And then after some months, they bleach their hair even lighter, a lighter color, like let's say light blonde, and then even lighter, and then maybe white and gray, because they want more and more of that. And they all want to stick out, but it's so extremely common, and maybe I should say over more saturated. So it's so common. So if you want to stick out and be unique, then you're just doing like everyone else are doing. If you're doing that, so then you're not unique in that way when it comes to your hair. But keeping your hair natural and healthy and not doing anything harmful, such as coloring, because the chemicals and coloring and bleaching and everything at a professional hair stylist salon is still very harmful. And if you do it at home,
good luck.
Yeah. So your hair is 100% natural, and it sticks out in a very big and positive way. It's very unique. And let's say you have 10 people who have colored their hair, done special things with their hair, special hairstyles, everything. People will not be looking at them, they will be looking at you because of your long, beautiful, natural hair. So you have to like shift your paradigm or mindset, because you can stick out by actually being natural and unique and without using much money or time, and just being natural and being yourself. Would you recommend other girls and women to become Real Rapunzels models, and why?
If you have the length and you have all the criteria that needs, then you're just wasting a really big opportunity to be part of something bigger and have a community. Because if you have this long hair all by yourself and you don't really do anything with it, then you're missing out on a really big opportunity, as in like having this little community and having this little family that we are in Real Rapunzels, and having like a really good collaboration, you know, with my manager and with the Real Rapunzel agency. I think like you should definitely like test it out. If it's not for you to expose yourself like that, then yeah, at least you have tried. But definitely give it a shot, because you are missing out on like a lot of opportunities. If you like, you know, content creating and social media and all of that, you're missing out on a really big part that, you know, you can grow yourself personally as well.
Thank you very much. That's so good to hear, and you know it warms my heart and everyone else in Real Rapunzels, and we're one big beautiful family. When you have such long beautiful hair, you should use it like in a positive sense, like use it to something very good. And if you have a small like comfort area or circle, you have to go outside of that, and then it will get bigger, and then you can go outside of that and make it even bigger. When it comes to being in front of cameras, for example, I've done that myself, and what's even more important than the fact that you will grow your hair longer is that you will grow yourself personally, like personal development and self-development. Like there's so many ways to grow, and by doing things and being a model, that's one of the beautiful ways. I think it's even more valuable that you meet these amazing people like Victoria here and build friendships that are lifelong. And you know, if someone, for example, loses their hair or cuts their hair, of course they're still friends. Like they're not friends with each other here, but with each other. So it's all those beautiful things, and I completely agree that you miss out on a big opportunity, of course, if you don't, like if you have all that hair for yourself, because you have patience, and there has gone several years and you have grown it over like several years. So why not show it off and like be proud of your hair?
I agree.
Do you have any hair idols or like people that you look up to for inspiration or for growing longer hair, or tips, or like in or inside or outside of Real Rapunzels?
I haven't really thought of that before. I kind of just have myself.
Yeah. That's self-confidence. I love that. Yeah.
Like I challenge myself, and I kind of have myself as a goal. Like right now, where I have like shorter than what I have used to have, I have like my old self to look up to.
Yeah, perfect.
But definitely, like as ironically as it sounds, but Rapunzel, like Entangled, the movie, definitely I want to do like that one braid when she was braided by all the girls. That would be so fun. And definitely seeing other people like on TikTok or YouTube having like long beautiful hair, and it's like, dang it, why don't I have longer hair? When I see like they have longer, and then I get a bit jealous, but I'm just like it's
and
okay.
it's a good type of jealousy.
Yeah.
But actually the number one person or fictional character that our models have looked and are looking up to is actually, of course, Rapunzel. Yeah. Also, what's really important that I forgot to mention earlier is that I would suppose that if you have long hair, you are known as the girl with the long hair or the lady with the long hair. And that can feel amazing, but it can also feel like you're the only one. So when you get into Real Rapunzels, and let's say you have very long hair, knee length for example, and people are like, oh my god, your hair is so long, and now suddenly you are together with people who have almost as long hair as you, and longer hair than you. And you're a part of a community, and being with like-minded people it's always a good thing. So you can like grow together as well.
I'm very happy with the length that I have right now, but when I see, Real Rapunzel model like Alona, I'm getting like, oh, I want to like have that length, and she kind of gives me motivation for keep growing it and not just like, should I trim it? Nah. So we are each other's motivation somehow, and maybe I am someone's motivation to grow longer.
You are, absolutely, trust me. Yeah, absolutely.
So I mean, and that's fun to know that you're a role model in like that way of like people looking up to you and wanting to have like the hair that you have, and like that you're a motivation for other people. Because even though I have long hair and I'm used to having long hair, I still get like in awe when I see other people with long hair, especially like Alona's length. It's like, wow, like creds to you for doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. And classic length hair models, when they see people with knee length, they are like, wow. And then knee length see floor length hair models, wow. And then they see, for example, Aaliyah, which has over 100 inches of hair, and like, wow. So like there's always new levels.
Yeah.
The community that we are creating together is amazing, and the credits goes out to all the Real Rapunzels models. They are amazing, just as you. So when it comes to recommendations on what you can do and not do in this interview, which has been a pretty long and detailed interview, we have talked about some things, like many things that you should do and not do, myths and many good things. But hair can be summed up in simple short sentences, but there's so much more to it, which is why you can take a bachelor's degree and even a master's degree, I think, maybe PhD as well, within trichology, like the science of hair and each hair strand. There's so much to it, so we could sit here and talk for hours and hours and days, and I would have no problem with that. It's one of my biggest passions. But I think we can end and like sum up the interview now. And then I have a question, the last question, and that's dry shampoo. It can be a quick solution, like if you need to fix it or you don't have time to wash your hair, etc. What is your experience, Victoria, with dry shampoo, and why would you recommend or not recommend it?
So I used dry shampoo a lot in the past because, as you said, it was a quick fix. When you like saw that your hair was getting greasy, you would just, and then it was good. But I don't use dry shampoo anymore at all. I don't even think I own dry shampoo. Because when you spray it in, as much as you wash your hair, it's still like some residue left in your scalp. So unless you scrub your scalp, there's still gonna be some left. And also like there's a product on your hair and like on your scalp that's not supposed to be there by nature. And what I do now if I get greasy hair is that I will just put it in a slick pony. And by slick, I mean that it's my own greasy hair doing the slick. So it looks like it's intentional, but it's intentional doing like a slick ponytail.
Yeah, so you have always been healthy and pretty natural, but now you have gone from being that to being even more natural and caretaking with your hair. So for example, during a shoot or not during a shoot, when you're brushing your hair, like some people to save time do like this before they do like that, but just take it easy. It's not only for the videos and photos, it's for the hair as well. And I see people with shorter hair doing that, and it's no use because you have longer hair, and anyways you just do like that, and it's much more calm for the mind and the body as well. Like, why do you want to stress, right?
Yeah.
So I just want to thank you for being a part of this interview, and more importantly, a part of Real Rapunzels. We have had 6 amazing years. The only complaint that I have to myself, of course, is that we haven't worked enough together. So my hope and goal for the near future is that we will work much more together. I hope you will not cut your hair, never cut your hair, of course, only trim it if you want to keep knee length. Yeah, this is a good partnership that's only getting better and better.
Yep.
So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.